politically blown hot and cold this season. But the Cups, particularly that victory here in the Coca-Cola competition, have produced some stimulating success. Although currently they've gone 10 league games without a win. That's a major worry for all concerned with Manchester City. But they can forget about that for the moment. Bright and blustery on Tyneside. And here's John Beresford, who was given a free transfer by Manchester City back in 1986. He's done quite well since then. Newcastle must feel that they're long overdue a goal here against Manchester City. Beaten 2-0 in that Coca-Cola Cup replay, 0-0 the league game here. An early chance. Fox. It's the side netting. It's a corner.
Well, I'm not sure whether it was Andy Dibble or whether it took a little nick off someone. Certainly struck well enough. If it is the goalkeeper, he's done his job, because you wouldn't expect him to be beaten on this side. No, it just got a nick off Peter Beagrey. It must have been the charger who got the touch on it. But it looked like Dibble had the near post covered.
Oh, Beagrey trying to just place it into Fox, into the area there. Didn't quite come off for Newcastle. Rosler trying to buy a bit of time and saying, where were the midfield men supporting it? Well, Nick Summerby. Quinn and Rosler weren't in a position where Summerby could pick them out. The counter-attack led by the pace of Gillespie. And a well-judged challenge by Alan Kernahan, whose form is so much improved these days after the tentative player he looked in Manchester City's colours last season. Quinn couldn't deal with it. Here's Lee. No offside. Kitson. Bit of a tugging there by Curl. Spotted both by linesman and referee. Free kick. Oh dear. Well, it was Kitson it struck and deflected wide of a gaping goal. He knew very little about it, but if Newcastle feel that Manchester City are a jinx team when it comes to scoring, they'll look at this aghast.
David Brightwell got caught ball watching, and Gillespie just walked in behind him. You have to feel a little bit for Kitson, very much like a goalkeeper makes an instinctive save from point-blank range. This is what happens to Paul Kitson. He's so close to the rebound that he can't react. The ball hits him rather than...
Himself here. Waiting for help. It's there from Summerby. Back for Gaudino again. Rosler and Quinn, as you'd expect, in the middle. Flitcroft coming in a deeper position, and swerving one, and Sonicek had to save it. It was certainly going to dip under the bar.
Well, a couple of yards either side of Sonicek, and he really would have a great difficulty. I think the surprise element was there. That's what nearly causes the goalkeeper to miss it. I don't think he expects him to hit this A and hit it so well B. I think that's what almost took the goalkeeper by surprise.
And it is David Brightwell who meets it. They've got plenty of height, Andy.
They have got height, Mark. McKinnon and Brightwell coming up.
And Manchester City have escaped here when there was defensive chaos looming large. Kitson kept chasing and very nearly got the ultimate reward.
Now there's an example for young centre-backs watching. Never assume anything in football. The only thing that saves him is that Kitson hits this right-footed, gets a little bit of curl on it, and that little bit of curl takes it wide of the far post.
Goal, Kitson has scored, and the referees had to give it.
Well, that's going to cause a bit of controversy, Mark. Brian Horton's on the side of the pitch, and I'm not surprised. He's been looking to keep the game flowing, the referee. There's clearly an offside before this. They will argue there may even be a free kick. Now Andy Dibble gets in all sorts of problems. Just put it out. He doesn't, and now there's a goal. And there's no surprise. Look at Andy Dibble. All sorts of problems for the goalkeeper.
Keith Gillespie.
And Gillespie can't miss this. Simple tap-in. But what went beforehand, Martin? Well,
it's chaos here. Kitson was clearly in the centre in an offside position. That's what Brian Horton is complaining about. But is that offside under the terms of the new FIFA mandates at the start of the season? And indeed, had the referee simply just thought that City had got the ball in any case.
I think he assumed that David Brightwell, and I can only say what I think Gerald Ashby was doing. I think he assumed he didn't want to stop play. The linesman's flag went up now. The linesman, if he flagged, the offside should be given, in my opinion, Mark. That's the thing. Now, he wanted play to carry on, and I think Gillespie surprised the referee and maybe met David Brightwell by winning the ball back. Now, having
a speciality of scoring against Newcastle this season in the Coca-Cola Cup, has cashed in on the mishandling from the corner, and it's 1-1, and Manchester City is suddenly feeling a lot better.
Well, Niall Quinn's physical presence is the first thing that takes Sunderland by surprise. He tries to get past Quinn, who just bounces off. And then he loses control, but look how quickly Uwe Rosler assesses the situation, gets to the ball, swivels on his right foot, strikes it very crisply with the left foot into an empty net. I think a goal that City have deserved in the overall play.
And as you were saying, Andy, some inspiration from a feeling of injustice, whether that feeling is misplaced or not. But it's real in their minds, and they've come roaring back. Srnicek snatched it away from him.
That was good goalkeeping, Martin, because Rosler had pulled into a wonderful position. You've got someone who can deliver as accurately as Peter Beagrie, and he just pulled on Howie's shoulder, left him for dead.
Beardsley. Fox. It's wide. Rob Lee started the season like a house on fire.
When you look at that, Rosler, you see him at the left of screen, he's pulled away. Now he would be thinking, I've got a free header. But what good goalkeeping. Just made a mistake that's cost his team a goal. But had the confidence there, Srnicek, to come out 10, 12 yards and collect that cross.
And John Beresford, who started life with Manchester City Football Club, has got a goal here against the club that released him on a free transfer all those years ago. A lucky one, perhaps, but lovely build-up for it in the first place.
Lovely one, too. And I think he's looking just to chip this into the danger area. I don't think he's looking for goals. Maybe John will tell us afterwards. The build-up's super. Lovely one, too. Perfectly laid. I think this is a cross to the back post. Very much like Chris Waddle in an earlier round, though. He just got across it a little bit, and it found the top corner. The goalkeeper absolutely stranded.
Looking for Beagrie. That's a great ball. Rosler into the centre. Gaudino's coming in behind him. Beagrie still got a piece of it. Quinn trying to slide it past Srnicek. Didn't get that far. Rosler. Yes. Needed to be cleared off the line by Beardsley. Which, of course, is a recipe for rich entertainment. And that's what we've had here in the first half at St James's Park. Beagrie bent it in. Not deep enough for Quinn. Brightwell. Beardsley trying to steal it from him. And Niall Quinn said that Beresford handled that.
And so did a couple of thousand Manchester City fans right in that corner, looking straight at that instant, Mark. It wasn't easy to see from here. But that
post decides to take it on. Just went across the face of the goal, retrieved by Fox. Absolute whisker away from being 3-1 to Newcastle. Gaudino.
That was incredible, Mark. The public addressed this and burst into life just as Peter Beardsley went through. They announced a half-time score here at St James's. It's 2-1.
There was just a little lull in proceedings as the free kick was being taken a few seconds earlier, which fooled the man in charge of that particular microphone. But you can understand a certain amount of confusion with so much to take in.
Well, yeah,
this is what happened anyway.
I think that tackle was the thing that, you know, the last...
inside of the post. It seemed certain to fly in from there, and it didn't.
Well, it goes for a goal kick. That's what's amazing me. From hitting this near post, it suddenly got one save.
It should have been a corner off Dibble, yeah.
It should have been a corner, but obviously the referee's angle was like, oh, it's not conclusive. The touch is a faint one, but it's a vital one nonetheless. As that goes out of play, hits it super. Now that's what we talk about going across goal, Martin. That's the advantage. It can hit the post, it can go in from there, it can hit the post, it can drop down, and someone can tap it in. But what a fine save from Andy.
And needing vigilance at the back. And recovering in behind Peacock. Glances it on for Beardsley. He's got a run on here, Peter Beardsley. Kernahan forces him wide. Well, in came Keith Gillespie to make it 3-1. Fatal hesitation for Manchester City. And there's a more relaxed feeling in the Newcastle ranks now.
It happens so often in this situation because attackers tend to go and attack the ball. And defenders, as David Brightwell does here, watch him. He looks, he waits, he waits, he waits. And that is the crucial moment in this move. Had he gone and met the ball and just cleared it anywhere, then there was nothing Gillespie could do. But he waits. Plus he looked the wrong way. He looked over his left shoulder. Gillespie appears over his right. And it's a simple task of knocking it in. That just might be too much now for Manchester City.
Not deep enough for either Quinn or Rosler, who is right round the back. And they're looking for Gillespie at every opportunity. Of course, he's on a hat-trick.
It's set up for Newcastle now.
They're not best pleased in the centre. Beagrie. Has got to the ball in front of Curl. Didn't really master its role.
Good defending.
Here he is. It's a case of Fox picking the right ball out now for Manchester City. Again, there wasn't quite enough pace on it for him to stride on confidently, but he was clear this time.
He gets to now look at that piece of ground, though, Martins, and that's one of the poorest pieces in the penalty, and that didn't help him either. He rather scuffed the shot. But he was always under pressure, having made again a very, very good run from that set.
Brightwell intervened. Newcastle looking to round it all off with the grand manner here. Venice, and it's Beresford. Flag is up. He discovered the road into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. A great day for Keith Gillespie with 2 goals. John Beresford as well, who has his name on the score sheet. Uwe Rosler had pulled it back to 1-1 when Beresford struck with that intended cross. 19 years since their last 5th round success.